Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we're going to be continuing the Crown Tundra DLC 2 guides. And today I'm continuing with one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and also just one of my favorite Pokemon going into this format in VGC 2020, Metagross. So this Pokemon is really strong. It has a great typing, a great ability with Clear Body, being able to not care about Intimidate and Max moves, insane stats, and it just takes advantage of Dynamax so well, in my opinion, especially with weakness policy. So let's talk about it. So Metagross is a really strong Pokemon, and it's been very good in top tier play in many formats in the past, like VGC 2018 and 19, mostly due to the fact that it has its Mega, which gives it stronger attacks as well as, or like better stats essentially, which is really strong. Having better stats in general is just like really good. And this Pokemon's stats as a Mega is off the charts, like they're insanely good. But with Max, you essentially get the same amount of bulk added. You just don't get that extra speed, which is really good, definitely, but like without Mega, like is really good still, especially with Dynamax. So like I said, Dynamax gives you that added bulk, being able to double your HP, but it also gives you insane moves, which Mega does not do. So you do get a lot stronger moves in the form of Max moves with great secondary effects as well, which is really good. So I just think Metagross, gets an amazing buff this gen, even though it loses its Mega, which we might get Megas, I don't know, but we do know for a fact it can Dynamax, which is really powerful. Sports PSIM, if you're playing on that for Series 7, you've probably seen so much Metagross that you can't even... It's just so much. It's so much Metagross. Everybody is playing this Pokemon, and for good reason. It's insane. So let's talk about it a little bit more. So Clear Body is a really good ability, especially with, like Incineroar, Lando, Arcanine, a lot of great Intimidate Pokemon, but it's also in a Dynamax format, so you get to not care about like Max Strikes and Max Darknesses. Like, you just don't really care. Max Wormwind, you don't care about any of those things, which is really good because the format is kind of flooded with those type of moves and also Intimidate Pokemon. So Metagross like gets by with that really well. Pretty much what you have to watch out for is like getting burned, and there are Pokemon that can help you out with that. Tapu Fini, you could even go Lumberry. There's a lot of ways to help that out a lot. So Clear Body mixed with any of that kind of stuff kind of says you can't really do anything other than like beat this guy up, but it's really hard to beat this guy up because its bulk is insane. With a really good defensive typing, giving you 9 resistances and 1 immunity, and only 4 weaknesses, this Pokemon is really bulky then as well. You can essentially just switch in really safely in any of these resisted hits, especially if they are physical, because our physical defense is off the charts. Let's take a look at these stats, because the stats are really important. HP 80 is pretty normal, and 90 special defense is pretty normal, but defense at 130, physical defense at 130, is an insane stat. This essentially says physical damages or physical attacks don't really scare you that much. I mean, unless they're like really big and really scary, like things like Wicked Blow from Urshifu, and the Meteor Mash, like strong Max Quakes from like Weakness Policy proc Pokemon, stuff like that. But that's far and in between. I don't know what that statement is, but it's pretty much is that Metagross doesn't have to worry too much about too many physical Pokemon, which is really good. And as far as our offense goes, it's insane. Attack at 135 is a really high base stat. I mean, Lando gets a bad rap, or I guess a good rap, for being an insanely powerful physical attacker at 145, and we're really close to that at 135. Of course, the 10 matters, but like, yeah, attack at 135 is absolutely insane for this Pokemon as well, so that is really good. And then a middling speed tier at 70 is pretty okay in this format. It's not that great, but you do want to go into speed most likely, mostly for the Meteor Mash, but also for, there's a lot of Pokemon in the format that hit that 100 to 130 ratio, or, speed tier as well, so it's good to have that. Anyway, you know what? I've been talking about this overview for a very long time now, so let's go ahead and talk about the VGC build that I have prepared. So, it is a testing set, it is just 252 attack and 252 speed, but for now, I think that is a really good starting point, a really good basis to start it off with, and you could always go for HP as well, especially since it's a weakness policy Pokemon, something like, like Tyranitar likes like an HP and attack investment, but yeah, I think Metagross is going to have a lot of mirror matches, and I think it's better to just be Jolly Max speed. But yeah, that's about it there. As far as the build itself goes, weakness policy and clear body. Clear body by far is its best ability. You know, not being able to be intimidated is really strong for a physical attacking Pokemon. That's biggest thing is, hey, I'm doing a lot of damage, and if you get to keep up doing that damage, it's really, really powerful. Weakness policy is great for this Pokemon because, like I said, it's very, very bulky. So even if you don't have to weakness policy proc it yourself with something like Bulldoze, you will be able to, you know, tank a pretty big, super effective attack, and then just keep playing the game at times 2 attack, which is really good. And it's not a super fast Pokemon, so like fairly fast Pokemon will hit you with a super effective attack, and then you get to return, you know, like Oko them with a really strong max move after weakness policy proc. So weakness policy is definitely a very, very good option here. Other options include like Life Orb if you just want to do consistent attack damage, whether you're Dynamax or not. That could be good. You could even go a Choice Band set if you wanted to, but I think this Pokemon just takes advantage of Dynamax so well that I would rather go for something that, you know, allows it to Dynamax and get a lot of you know, mileage off of that. Speaking of moves or items like that, we also have Lumberry, which is very good. Like I said, burning this Pokemon makes it, you know, not that strong. Once you burn it, it's not that big of a deal. But with weakness policy or Lumberry, you get to just not care about the burn, which is really good. And then we also have Assault Vest as the last option here, just giving you a really good, you know, +1 essentially in special defense when you're Dynamax or non-Dynamax, which is really strong. So I think Assault Vest could be a good option as well. But yeah, weakness policy is definitely what I opted to go for. Also, having Protect is really strong. Anyway, let's talk about the moves that I have here. So I went for Iron Head, Ice Punch, Stomping Tantrum, and Protect. Now you can always switch up some stuff here. You could go Meteor Mash if you want to for Iron Head, but Dynamaxing, you get the same 130 base power with either one, I believe, Iron Head or the Meteor Mash, so that's fine. And then Iron Head has 100 accuracy when, you know, or 95? 100 accuracy, and then Meteor Mash has 90, which, you know, that's why I went for Iron Head, because a lot of the time Metagross will live throughout its entire Dynamax, and you'll actually be able to use your moves non-Dynamax after Dynamax, which is really strong. And having that 100 accuracy is really good. Ice Punch is mostly here for Lando, but we do have some other flying and dragon type Pokemon that are really good. You know, Dragonite is really strong, I think. Salamence is really strong. A lot of really good ground type Pokemon could potentially see play as well. So yeah, I think Ice Punch is just a valuable thing. Also, we have things like Rillaboom and Tapu Bulu. Hitting those Pokemon with Ice Punch or Max Hailstorm is really strong as well. Next, we have Stomping Tantrum. This is big for the Mirror Match, giving you Max Quake. Max Quake also just buffing your special defense. Like I said, its physical defense and HP are really solid, or mostly it's physical defense. But with Dynamax, its HP is then solid, and then after a special defense boost or 2 from Stomping Tantrum, or Max Quake rather, this Pokemon can be super all-around bulky and just an amazing Pokemon in general. So yeah, I definitely think Stomping Tantrum is really good. Max Quake is really strong. Yeah, I like that. And then, like I said, I like Protect. I just think it's good. You know, having Stab and then Protect. I could go for Dual Stab. There are moves like Zen Headbutt that you could go for. But I saw the, you know, the power in the Ice Punch, Stomping Tantrum, Protect more than that. So that's what I went for. As far as other options, this Pokemon does have a pretty wide array of, you know, coverage moves and stuff. So let's talk about that. So you could also go Thunder Punch. That could be a really good move for this as well, being able to set up the electric terrain so you can't be slept, but you can still then be burned. So, you know, it's a medium attack, but Thunder Punch is definitely really good for that. It's good coverage as well. Zen Headbutt, like I was saying, is good stab move, especially if you go for like AV, if you go for an Assault Vest move, a moveset, and you can't have Protect. That could be a really great last option. You know, dual stab and then 2 moves of choice, being like Ice Punch and Stomping Tantrum or something like that. So that's good. Earthquake is another option instead of Stomping Tantrum. I went for Stomping Tantrum because you know, you don't know the entirety of the team that it's around, so Stomping Tantrum is a little bit more, you know, basic and safe for that, but it does have 95 accuracy, but Earthquake, you can hit your own Pokemon, so that's kind of just up to player preference, you know, Earthquake or Stomping Tantrum. Brick Break is really good. You know, people are a lot of people are liking Lapras G-Max right now, and Brick Break breaks those screens, which is really good. Alolan Ninetales could see play, Grimmsnarl could see play, so Brick Break is really good for that. It also gives you Max Knuckle to enhance your physical attack and your partner Pokemon, so that can be really good. Giga Impact gives you Max Strike, which lowers the opposing Pokemon's speed, both opposing Pokemon, so that can be really good for some speed control. Next, we have Rock Slide, which is just a good move. I mean, double hitting or like multi-targeting as well as getting a flinch chance can be really solid. So Rock Slide is really good. And Max Rock Slide, being able to change the weather can be good as well. And then last but probably least, we have Ally Switch. Ally Switch probably shouldn't be used on this Pokemon, as it's going to be a physical Pokemon, and or like an attacking Pokemon, and a lot of the time will max. So there's not really much point to having Ally Switch, but it's still cheeky, and I wanted to add it just so that, you know, next time you see Ally Switch Metagross, you're like, oh, at least I kind of knew that could happen. So it's good. Anyway, that is going to be it for the set itself. As far as the spread, I already talked about it. Attack and speed, Jolly Nature, just to outspeed opposing Metagross, or at least speed tie. So that's pretty good there. Next, let's talk about these synergetic Pokemon that I have. So at first, I have Salamence and Arcanine. Both of these Pokemon are really strong for this because, well, of course, you have weakness policy Bulldoze, so that can be really good. And a fast Bulldoze user with Intimidate gives a lot of, point or purpose to have those Pokemon. They both have, something over the other. So Salamence has access to Tailwind, which is really strong, and you also just have like good separate coverage, but like flying coverage as far as physical Pokemon, it doesn't get Brave Bird, so you'd have to use like Fly. So you would probably not want to use that. You'd probably just go like Tailwind, Bulldoze, maybe like a Dragon Claw, and then Protect or something like that. But yeah, that's a really good synergetic Pokemon, mostly due to the fast Bulldoze, but Tailwind is also very, very good and supportive. And then we also have Arcanine, which is, once again, fast Bulldoze, but it also is very notable for the fast Will-O-Wisp, which is really good in this format. I think our upcoming format is going to be more so physical. Series 5 was a very physical-heavy format. Series 6 was then a very special heavy format with Pokemon like Primarina being really strong, Rotom Wash. And now we are delving back into a physical format. Once again with things like Lando, we have Incineroar, we have Kartana, we have Buzzwole, like Metagross. There's so many physical Pokemon in this format that I think a fast Will-O-Wisp could be really, really good. Next we have Tapu Fini as the last one here. So Tapu Fini, it sets the Misty Surge, which is really good for this Pokemon, being able to activate the Misty Surge so you can't get burned. So that's the main reason there, but also like a Calm Mind setup Pokemon that doesn't really have to Dynamax could also work really well. And, it covers your typings pretty well. Like it just destroys the ground and fire type Pokemon, which is really solid. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. It also works towards that Steel Fairy Dragon Core, which is, pretty powerful in VGC. Anyway, that is it for that. Let's move on. I'm 12 minutes in, so we're pretty, this is moving pretty slow. But there's just a lot of knowledge to be, bestowed upon with Metagross. It's such a powerful Pokemon. Anyway, speed tiers. So here we are at 134, being very fat, or, max speed, positive nature and max speed. 134 is not insane, but it definitely is pretty good. Outspeeding a lot of really good Pokemon, things like in DDF, Tapu Fini without investment, Cresselia, Rillaboom without investment, Heatran without investment. There's a lot of really powerful Pokemon in that, 80 to 100 range. Even things like Lapras, Sylveon, there's a lot of really good Pokemon in that range that we outspeed, which is really good. And then also with Tailwind, this Pokemon becomes really fast. And Salamence, like I said, is a Bulldoze Tailwind user that can be really good for that. Pokemon that do outspeed Metagross are a lot. We're delving back into a format that has a lot of mid to fast Pokemon in the speed, like 150 to 180 has a lot of Pokemon in their speed tier. So getting outsped by things like Togekiss, Form Change Rotom, Excadrill, Landorus Therian, Tapu Lele, Arcanine, Nihilego. We have Cinderace, we have Kartana. A lot of Tailwind Pokemon and Tailwind users. A lot of really good Pokemon in that speed tier. That are going to be outspeeding Metagross, which is unfortunate, but Metagross, like I said, is very, very bulky, especially physically bulky, and this is a physical format, so a lot of these Pokemon are going to hit you with a very strong move, but then activate your weakness policy and then allow you to return OHKO them, which is really good. So it's good. Anyway, that is it for speed tiers. Let's talk about these damage calcs that I have. So let's start it off with the max steel spike from our Dynamax Metagross. This is 250 to attack, Jolly Nature, and to a Togekiss, a very bulky Togekiss, 236 HP, 196 plus defense Togekiss. Hitting 94 to 111, which is a 62.5% chance to OHKO, which is really good. And this is without weakness policy, so even if you proc your own weakness policy, even if it has Babbery Berry, you still have a very high chance to OHKO it, which is really good. And this is a very physically bulky Togekiss spread, and it's a pretty random spread. But it leaves wiggle room, so if they take away a little bit to be more especially bulky, then you just have a much better chance to OHKO in general, so that's good. I think Togekisses are going to be leaning more into being the bulky support variant than the Scope Lens variant this format, but only time will tell. Next, we have Metagross Ice Punch into Lando T, Dynamax Lando T. Yes, I said Ice Punch. This isn't even Max Hailstorm, but it is Weakness Policy proc, so you'll still have to, activate that. And you're probably going to Dynamax in the face of Lando, because that Max Quake would do a lot of damage otherwise. But Metagross Ice Punch still takes out Dynamaxed 4 HP Lando T, which is insane. 116 to 138. That's a lot of damage, and it's guaranteed OHKO into a Dynamaxed Pokemon, which is really good. So yeah, Metagross has a really good matchup with Lando T, definitely. My voice is kind of going away. Next, we have Metagross Max Hailstorm into a maxed Dragapult. Weakness Policy procced Max Hailstorm into the Dynamax Dragapult, hitting 117 to 138, which is guaranteed OHKO. Very, very big damage. But as you see with the next damage calc, Max Phantasm from Life Orb Dragapult Max Invested into the 4 HP Dynamaxed Metagross is hitting 69 to 83%, which is a lot of damage, but only a guaranteed 2-hit KO. So unless they like double target down, or like, burn you or something, you're going to be able to make that return OHKO pretty easily, which is really good, because Dragapult, if you can take that Pokemon out before it gets much mileage off of its Dynamax, then that's pretty insane. Also, the Max Phantasm can't lower your defense, which is really big. Next, we have Dynamax Max Quake from Weakness Policy proc into Incineroar, hitting 164 to 194, which is a guaranteed OHKO. That's very good, especially since its Intimidate doesn't affect you, so this is actually just a relevant calc for that, which is very good. Next, we have Max Hailstorm from Weakness Policy proc to Metagross into a 252 HP Rillaboom with 4 defense, hitting 158 to 187. Very, very good OHKO guaranteed there as well. Once again, Tapu Bulu might be the favorite Pokemon of over Rillaboom, but only time will tell. But we have a good matchup with that as well with Max Hailstorm. You just have to look out for like close combats and stuff from those, or Superpower. Yeah, or High Horsepower. Any of those. Anyway, let's move on to the single spotlight real quick before I end this video. So in single spotlight, I just went for a Choice Band build, Clear Body of course, Choice Band, Dual Stab, Ice Punch, and Earthquake. Just doing a lot of damage here. Ice Punch mostly for Lando, Earthquake just for good coverage, and then Dual Stab. Makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty basic spread here, but also keep in mind you can get Stealth Rocks on this Pokemon, so Stealth Rock can be a really good single spotlight version as well. You can go for like a Stealth Rock leftover bulky build. That could be really cool as well. But yeah, I just went for the basic Choice Band attack, very fast Pokemon. Maybe go Jolly Nature, I'm not entirely sure, but Jolly or Adamant will be good. Yeah, that is about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow the socials. All those links will be in the description down below. In sum up, I think Metagross is a really, really powerful Pokemon in VGC, and definitely, one of the top Pokemon that I've been playing and testing and seeing for the projected Series 7 format. So I definitely think Metagross will be really strong. So yeah, be ready to see a lot of this Pokemon. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all those stuff that I just said. And goodbye.